So I've got all the bits and pieces together for the what I call the Trifold card, and so let me just show you what the card is going to look like. So this is one of the style that I made, the fold that I made last Christmas for my other half, and it's a really very easy fold. It's just a 10 by 6 piece of white card with some whatever layers, mats and layers and patterns, embellishments or whatever you want on it, but I'll go through all of that in a moment. But I just wanted to show you the fold so you could see how easy it is. You can fold it whichever way you want. You can fold it backwards, you can fold it forwards. These three little panels, concertina, once you've scored them, you can have them one going back, one coming forward. You can have them both going back, so that it stands like that. I think you can see the profile of that there. Maybe just move that away so that you can, oh, that's better. That's better. So you can have it with the zigzag folding back and it looks so the front stands out, or you can fold it the opposite direction so that it is coming inwards, and then you have the like the little fan come to the front and your picture is recessed rather than standing out, so it looks like that. But you know, it's your choice once we've made it. But anyway, I'll just show you what bits and pieces that I'm going to use in case you want to craft along. So I have cut out a lot of Marta's sentiments and some of the flowers and bits and pieces, because I didn't know when I started, I didn't know what I was going to do, but I've now got I've got the idea of what I want to make, and so I'm going to use one sentiment. I cut up these with a sheet of for a 6 size card fronts, and so I've used the blue one like this, the one from this corner, so I've used the blue one like that. It's got flowers going across the corners though rather than across the bottom, so I'm using one of those. I've used the top half of one of the sentiments. I think this is the one with the circles on the bottom, which is blue and with a little bit of pinks. And I need a sheet of white card, a 4 size card. You need a 10 by 6 piece, and then another piece to put on the back so that you got the person you've given you've got somewhere to write on the back, or the person you're given to has got somewhere to write on the back. Excuse me. This is 250 GSM, same as Marta's card, but and then it makes a fairly substantial base for it to stand up. Once we get all the bits and pieces stuck on it, I'll be using Collal glue, which makes it really sturdy. And so as you can see with this one, I've popped a silver layer with a white mat on the top to write on. With that, and with the front, there's 2 layers on the front. The sides have only got 1 layer, but they're still very sturdy. But this is almost like a piece of grey board. It's really thick. You can hear it. And so one sheet of white paper, and I had an A4 sheet of, this is like a pearlized navy and sort of a really dark navy black, but it's beautiful and it shimmers in the, I don't know if you can, yeah, you can see that there. Doesn't that look beautiful? It's a card that I use a lot. And this is going to be a card for a man, and so that's the reason why I've chosen this lovely dark blue colour. And so yep, so that's all we need. Scissors. I'm going to do a tiny little bit of inking, so I've got a distress ink, a brush, I've got a Spectrum Noir pen, which I'll show you what I'm going to do with that later. I've got a couple of tiny little brads, whoops, got stuck to my finger. I've got a couple of tiny little they're heart-shaped brads, so let me show you that. So that's a little tiny heart-shaped brad, and some double-sided sticky tape and some foam, double-sided foam tape. And so let's get started. Okay, so here we are with all the pieces that I've already cut, so I don't waste a lot of time showing you how I can cut paper. So let's just shove these bits off for a moment and just pop them aside, I think. So this is the piece of card that is 10 by 6, so it's 10 by 6. And we're going to score at 1, 2 and 3, and then we're just going to twist it around, put it back in the corner, and we're going to do 1, 2 and 3 again. And so we now have 3 sections of 1 inch, should be a 4 inch, and then 3 more sections of 3, 6, 10. And so as I was showing you earlier in the video, that you can turn these side panels whichever way you want, and so I don't think it really matters which way you do mountain folds or which way you do valley folds at the moment, but I'm just going to start off with my first outside one, bringing it inwards, so that makes a mountain fold, and then I'm going to do the second one as a the first one is a valley fold, and then the second one's a mountain, and then the third one is a valley. So they're actually closing onto the front centre part of the card. Now, just let me grab my, oops, here it is, my bone folder. And so I'm just going to give them a nice crease. This way, and then I am going to turn it over and just roll it along the other side because I want them to be nice and sharp, and they should fold up nicely in line. So once you've folded it in, they should all look the same size. I think you should be able to see that there. So they're all the same size and they all fold in, and this is dead level down the edge. So I'm just going to do the same to the other side. So we're going to turn the first one in towards the centre. That makes a valley. This next one is going to be a mountain, and then the third one is going to be a valley as well. And so then I'm just going to quickly run the bone folder over this side, tuck it under so I can get the middle one, and then go over to the last, and this should be folding dead level across the bottom, and if it's not, you just need to just help it align, or it won't stand up very well. It'll stand up, but I don't think it'll balance very well, so just make sure that you've got your bottom edge. And I'm going to turn it over and do the same, so do that one, and we're going to do this one, and then we're going to do this one. So they're all done. Oh, I think I've made a bit of a, let me grab a rubber, and just give that a, I've got a bit of pen or something on my school board. Okay, so that's the scoring done. Now let's just pop that aside, and then I'm just going to go on to the sizes for the mats and layers that I've created. And so the centre one is 3 3/4 by 5 3/4, and I've chose to do a mat and a layer in just the centre. And it's entirely up to you whether you do mats and layers all the way along, or you just do one, just do one mat. And then this is the A6 size piece of Marta's card, where the 4 were together on one page, and I've cut that down to, it's between 3.5 and 5 5/8. Yeah, it's just between 3.5 and 3 5/8. So it'll be a 16th. And let's just see. So I wanted just a very tiny border. Entirely up to you. You might want to have a slightly larger border if you work with that type of border, and then you can just go down so that you make that 3.5. If you want it to be just a small border like that, then you need to do, so that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 16ths. But it's between 3.5 and 3 5/8 going across, and then the length of it is the same on the 5-inch, so it's just over between 5.5 and 5 5/8. I think you can see that there. And so again, if you want to have the bigger border, you would cut that down to 5.5 by 3.5. Entirely your choice. With it, I did take some off of each side a little bit at a time so that I could keep some of the features. I didn't want to lose all of those, and I didn't want to lose all the text off the bottom, and so I did cut some from the top, some from the bottom, some from the sides, until I got it to the size I wanted. I didn't just chop from, you know, the top and the side, because I wanted to make sure I was still happy with how equal it looked. And so that's those two pieces. And then I've got a patterned piece for the outside and the inside, and blue panel for the middle, and the same on that side as well. And so these pieces, I might have to cut these down. I've actually cut them at 7/8 by 5 3/4, which looks fine when it's not folded. But once you fold it, I found this when I've made things before, that it then creates. Perhaps I can use the blue one and we can see it with how dark it is. You see. Now we've got the fold in there. The fold takes up a little bit of space, and that then makes that not look equal. So I'm going to take a slither off of the side of that, and probably all of them, because they're all the same. And so I'm going to make it between, that's a 1/2 3/4. I'm going to make it between 3/4 and 7/8. Halfway through the middle of that. But again, same with what I've said about the centre. You have what borders you like. It's difficult giving measurements, because everybody does, you know, have their borders, and they're happy with different types, you know, sizes and whatever. And so, you know, this is not strict. You haven't got to keep to this. It's what you like on your cards. This is what I like on my cards. And so we've got 1, 2, 4 of the pattern paper, and then we've got 2 of the colour that I've used to mat the centre line. And so I'll cut those down in a moment. But to start off with, I'm just going to start sticking this in place here. So I'm going to get my scoreboard out, because I don't need that anymore. So let's get that out of the way. And I think I'm going to bring my glass mat in, because we're going to be using glues, and I don't really want to get that stuck on the back of my cutting mat. So I've got some collal here, which I love collal. It puts extra strength into the project. I'm not sure if that's going to work with collal. That's a bit like, I think I might have to put some sticky tape on this, double-sided tape on this, because it's a little bit shiny, and I don't want that to come off. And so I'm just going to run a bit of tape down here. Little scissors. That's the only trouble with glass mat. It's noisy when you clank things on it. Sorry about that. And then across the top. go my finger. And so that's that on there. Then I'll get my pokey tool, just rub that on so the top is stuck, and then we'll get the pokey tool and just flick up. I like to turn back 2 corners, top and the bottom, just so that I've still got one side that is movable to be able to get the perfect position before it actually sticks. So I'll just dot a little bit of glue on that, not too much, it's gone a bit too close to the edge, and then so I'm going to hold back my corners, and then I can press on this one because this one is still sealed up with the backing tape, and so with this one at the top right and bottom left, excuse me if my head comes in, I just want to see if it make sure that I can get it dead in, so I can press this corner without worrying that it's going to stick, and then I can get them equal down at the bottom and the top. And does that look right? I think that looks good. So then I can press the corners that have already had the tape backing off, and we can just peel this lot off. So that's that one done. Got a little piece of fibre in there, and then this one, the text is at the bottom, and so I'm now going to pop that in there, but I am going to put that on, I think that'll be okay with collal. I'll tell you what I'm going to do, just in case, because I don't like my cards falling apart, because I do hope that people will keep them. It's not always the way. I'll fast forward through this so you don't have to sit and watch me sticking this, so don't worry. Okay, so let's get that the right way up. So text is at the bottom. So I'm going to collal the middle, and so that helps to give it some strength. I know you think I'm using a lot of glue, but that's what I like to do, to be able to give it a bit more of a sturdy base. Just want my glue off my finger. And then I can do the same. I can pop this top corner and this one and this one down. I hope I haven't gone off of the, take it out of the way, and so I can pop this down. I know it's just a tiny little 1/16 of an inch. Sorry if my head is in the way. Make sure that's equal. Just let me look at that. Just pop that up a little bit. Yeah, that looks good. Press the glue down in the middle, get that to spread about, get rid of the bits in the bin. Okay, so that's the centre done. Now I'm just going to take this little bit off, take a little bit off of these. Just check. See how much I've got to take off. It's just a little slither. It's just a tiny little slither that I want to take off. Oh, come out. Yeah, so that's the tiny little slither. It's about a 1/16 of an inch that I've taken off. Right, so that one's going on the end. Okay, I didn't realise that my battery was getting low and it cut off there, and so the last thing you would have seen was me sorting out at fast speed. I was sorting out where I was going to put the patterns at the top of these pieces. So I've kept the text together on there, and I've kept the pink together on there, and then I've stuck them all on. So I used a piece of double-sided tape down the back of each of the blue ones with collal on the top of those, and then there's just collal, or you can use, you know, whatever glue you've got, tacky glue, any PVAs, cosmic shimmers, or whatever you're using, skill glue, to stick them on. The main thing that I kept my eye on was that the gaps between the sections on the left and right panels were a similar size, and I was making sure that I kept level the pieces that we've put on at the sides, level with the centre panel there, and again with the top, and also down this outside edge, just so that it makes it look professional. If if they're all higgledy-piggledy, that's, that would annoy me, because I like being, pretty spot on with my measurements and things. It's just one of the things I'm a bit OCD about. Anyway, so that's all done, and that didn't really take very long, apart from cutting the card and scoring your base. That's not really taken very long. I don't know how long it has taken me, but it doesn't feel like it's taken very long. And we've already got our base. So from now on, you can decorate that however you wish. But as I said earlier in the, sorry, I've left my glue top off. As I said earlier in the video, this is a card for a man. That's why I've kept the base of it fairly blue. I've just got a few flowers in there just to give it a little bit of light. And I'm going to make it into a sympathy card. So what I have got is I've got the sympathy sentiment from one of Marta's sheets, which I've cut off, and I've cut that quite close to the edge of the tiny weeny little border. And I have also, I've done this side, but I'll do the other side with together. What I've done is I've snipped off that edge. I don't know if you can see it. Let me see if I can show you. I've snipped off, can you see the cut line there? I've snipped it off, and then I've stuck it back on with a piece of double-sided tape. The reason I do that is because I like to have that bend. I like to have the bend when I'm putting something that it's got a nice shape like this. I like to be able to have the edges flat and have the middle just raised a tiny little bit. I know you can do that by scoring there, but I find that it never gives a really crisp crease. I think it then still goes very curved, whereas on this one and some of the others that I do, I like to have that very obvious raise in the middle. So we'll just do that, and then I'm just going to put a little bit of dark blue. I'm using Chip Sapphire Distress Ink, and I'm just going to blue around the edges. But let's just do this first. And so I won't use those scissors, they're not quite big enough. I'm going to snip off. Just on the inside of this outlined greyish border. down this side, and so I'm going to do that. So I've cut it into two, and now I'm going to stick it back together with a piece of tape, with a piece of double-sided tape. Now I normally start off with a piece of tape. I don't mind what size it is because I'm going to trim it down, and I just put that across so it's halfway, it's stuck halfway across the tape, and then we're going to join this bit up as close as possible. So if you hold it up rather than try and lay it down, if you hold it up and butt it up to match the pattern and then lay it down, and by doing that you'll make sure you haven't got any gaps before it actually sticks. And so it's like that, and then I'm just going to cut off this tape that's sticking out around it. And peel each piece from your scissors, or they get a bit gunky, or you might have some scissors that you keep specially for cutting double-sided tape. Get off. Stuck to my finger. And so I've now got these. When I put it into place, these two ends are dead flat, and I can raise it up very easily as much as I want to. I'm going to put a couple of little brad heads on here. I haven't got any blue stones. I've only got blue, very glistening stones, and I didn't want anything like that. And so what I've done is I didn't have any brads actually that were the right colour. I wanted a very dark navy to match the rest of the card. And so what I've got here is I don't know if you can see, where am I? I've got a tiny little, maybe if I put it on a piece of card, hang on. No, put it on black, that'd be better, won't it? I'll put it on this blue. So I've got a tiny little heart. Is that in focus? I've got a tiny little heart. It's upside down, I know. Brad that I'm going to colour, because I haven't got a blue one. I'm going to colour it so that I can, well, I've coloured this one, so you should be able to see that one now. I've coloured navy blue to match. And so all I've done is I've used an alcohol pen. This is a Spectrum Noir, any alcohol pen, but this is the only dark navy that I had. And so with the chisel end, whichever is the chisel end, with the chisel end, well, let's do this other one together. And so I'm just going to paint over the top with the pen and around the edges, and the alcohol ink marker will dry and you won't be able to rub it off. And that way you can make brads, or you can also do this to crystal beads that are, you know, a silvery white colour. You could colour those and you still get the sheen from underneath it. But as you can see, that is now a very nice, hopefully you can see that is a very nice dark blue. And just going to lay that down to dry. Lay that down there. Just so that you can see that I did this one an hour or so ago. It dries very quickly, within about 5-10 minutes, but you can now rub it and nothing comes off. The colour does not come off there, and you can still see the lovely sheen from the silver through it. And so I'm going to pop these on here and then stick it on with a little bit of hot glue. So I'm just going to get, I've got a little mat here that I use for punching. Oops, what did I do with it? Oh, there it is. Don't lose it, it's so tiny. So I'm just going to use my pokey tool and I'm going to punch a hole in the centre between the line I cut and the edge of the sentiment. I'm just going to punch a hole in there and then I'm going to run it up and down so that it's big enough. And I'm going to do the same in here. I'm just eyeballing this, make sure it's level. Is that level? I think so. Poke it through and then all the way up and down. And then it's going to go on like that. So where's the, pop this one on first. So I'm just going to pop that on and then open up the brad at the back. Just bend the brad legs if you need to. If they're too long, you can twist them round. It'll be fine. Twist it round to get it out of the way. There you go. Let's get that out of the way over there. So, and there's the little heart. So we've got our heart on there. Don't know if this one will be dry yet. Oh, actually it is. So nothing's coming off. So let's go with the flow. So pop that in there. That's up the right way. Not going to touch it too much because it might come off if I rub it, because we only did it a couple of minutes ago. Now I daren't press my hand on it, so I can't get the legs opened. I don't know, I think we're all right. I think it's dried. So spread that one out, and then that one's fine there because that's not poking outside. And then just give it a press so that you know that that's in nicely. And just straighten them up. Just give that a little twist on the back. Twisted it too much now, Suzanne. Come on. Lovely. So then when we put it on here, oh, I have rubbed it off. I knew that it wasn't properly dry. Anyway, let's just give it a little, might use the fine end. Might use the fine end now. Let's give it a bit of colour while it's in place. There we are, that's nice again now. And so I'm going to lay that somewhere like that, I'm not sure yet. Let's get that pad out of the way. And then I have cut a butterfly. I've cut a butterfly out of the same piece of card that I used, which was the 8-inch piece that was above the circular sentiments. So I have cut this butterfly out of here, so that is a matching base. And then I've got a frilly, what do we call that? An open work top. This is the butterfly that I'm using. It's an old Spellbinders Shapeabilities, and so I've got, this is the intricate one and that's the base, and I'm just going to pop them down the bottom here. Should we go that way because the flowers are there? And then I've bent this down the centre, and I'm just going to stick down the centre and stick down his little proboscis thing, and so this is raised up. And so that's going to be there, something like that, because I always associate butterflies with death. And we have with sympathy there, and then I've got a couple of little flowers, not Marta's handmade flowers, but these are the ones that I've already cut out, and I was just going to pop them behind this side where the flowers go down that side. I'm just going to pop something under here. I think I've got a little orangey one and a purpley one, and I did have a little leaf. What have I done with that? Just let me find another little leaf. A little bit of leaf. Oh, I've cut so many I can't see the leaf. They're attached to another of the sentiments. Da-di-da-di-da-di-da. Oh, here they are. Yeah, it's that, I think. And that's the bigger one. Oh, we'll just have a look and see, because that's already attached. I'm not sure about, we could use that. Yeah, let's have a look. So what do we think? We've got those two, or we could have that. No, that's too much like the top. I suppose that one doesn't look too bad. Doesn't look too bad, does it? But that, I think that merges into that too much, so I do think I'm going to keep. What about if I put a leaf behind it and then pop that in? Oh, could you stay there? And like that? Or do I like it better without? I actually think I like it better without the leaves. I'm not going to put them in. No, I'm just going to do that. And so let's just do that, and our card will be finished, apart from just putting a piece on the back for putting for being able to write and maybe put another sentiment or something like that. And so I'm just going to get some hot glue and pop these. I don't know if I'll put that on with hot glue. Will I put that on with hot glue? Yes, I think I will. So I'm just going to get my hot glue gun because I can't see. Oh, here it is. Oh, blums! I haven't turned it on. So let's just turn it on. I'm just going to stop the video a moment. Hot glue gun at the ready. I've had a tidy up, and I've also cut the little piece for the back to for the person to be able to write on. So that wasn't wasted time. And so I did say that I was going to ink around this little sympathy just to give it a bit of a brighter blue edge. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep it perfectly level. I'm not going to, I just want to do the very edge. I don't want it really to come over onto the front at all. And so I've just gone along there, and then I'm just going to go along here. And it just makes that white edge blue, and then when it sits on top of the, got little fibres coming off of my pad. When it sits on top of the card, it just stands out that little bit more. I'm just going to go around the edges here. Yeah, so I haven't used the brush. I did say that I might use the brush, but I decided against that because I think that would blur the edges a little bit too much. So I've gone for this method, whatever it might be called. And just get in the corners there. As I said, this is just a little, one of the little distress ink cubes, and so we've gone all the way around there. I think that looks good. All these little extra bits that we do just add another little bit of, I'll just get those flowers out of the way. Just to make the card look that little bit special. So now we've got that blue all the way around, that stands up just that little bit more. Hopefully you can see that. And so yeah, I think I'm going to make sure we keep this in shot, but I think I'm going to stick this on first. Now I think that's about the right place. Is that where I had it? And then the two little flowers there. Yeah. So we're going about where those music bars are. So I'm going to stick this end first. I'm not very good with hot glue, it seems to dry too quick for me. Probably because I faff about too much with the strings. And so I'm just eyeballing the centre. So just push that down. And I think that just needs to come, oops, come back like it's caught on one of the strings of glue. Go away. Right, I think it just needs to come down a tiny little bit when I stick the other side on. But yes, I've learnt from my mistakes that if I glue both ends, then inevitably one side is dry, or the side I'm not sticking is dry before I get to doing it. And so now you can just push your little sympathy thing up as much as you'd like, and I think that looks just nice like that. Yeah, I think that looks nice. So push that in place, and that's excellent. Yep, like that. And then let's get the butterfly on. I might just curl the underwings a little bit. I'm just going to roll them around my bone folder. So it doesn't look quite so flat. Yeah, that looks nice. So I'm just going to stick that down the middle. Should I just give it a little crease? I'm just going to put my nail in the centre of his body and just give that a little crease. Yep, and then just run a little bead down here. So let's pop him about there, I think. And then with my bone folder I'm just going to level him up. There you go. Just string glue out of the way. And then it's going to put this on the top. Right, I've got a very tiny little bit of glue here. Come on, I don't want to squirt it too much and get too much out. The rest will be dry if I don't hurry up. Probably too dry already, knowing my luck. So let's just get that in there. Stick on there like that. Yeah, I think it's stuck on. And we can just flop his wings up. Oh, look at that. Oh, I like that. I think that's really pretty. Can you see how much the butterfly is standing up? Oh, I think that's lovely. I think it's really nice. Right, let's just get these couple of flowers in. A string of glue. And let's just see where I'm going to poke these. Yeah, I think if I just put a little bit of glue, I've shaped them with a little bit with my finger, or you can do it with your bone folder. Just curl it under so that you're bringing the flower upwards, and then I'm no specialist with flowers, but just give it a little crease this way, bend it inwards. So you've got a bit coming up and a bit going in, and then we're just going to pop that under there about there, I think. So put a little bit of glue on the back, and then pop that under there like that. Just stick it down. Yep, that's pop that one on that side? Or do we pop that one on that side? No, let's put it on that side, I think. There, like that. So I'm just going to put that in like that. Just need to go down a bit. Oh, too late, it's stuck. I'm just going to pop that in and make sure it's stuck. Yep. So I've done the same with this purple one. I've just done a little bit of shaping with that, done a little bit of shaping with that, and there we are, there's the card. And so, as I was saying earlier, you can now fold it to stand like that. So you've got the reset, the front panel is recessed, or you can fold it totally opposite directions and just make your mountains into valleys and your valleys into mountains. And with a good weight paper that won't split it at all. And then you can have it so that the front panel is proud and it's standing out, and it'll look like, can I lay it down like it? It'll look like that. And so I'm really pleased with that. Nice and simple, a little bit of inspiration for you. You can make it into any card. It doesn't have to be a sympathy card, or it could be a sympathy card. They're not something that I make very often, but I do think that that is really suitable for a man, because it's, you know, it's nice blue colours, and it just gives the acknowledge a little bit of feminine side with a couple of flowers and a few leaves. And I think that to give that to a man for the loss of a friend or partner, wife, whoever, would be ideal. And so I've just got the panel to stick on the back so that you've got somewhere to write. So I'm going to pop it in the back here. I've chosen a die that fits equal sides. So I've used one of these, which is Creative Expression Sue Wilson dies, which are the double stitched. And so I've just got one, I've got a die that actually fitted, the cut line fitted in between the side panels. And so it's got a little bit of stitching around the edge. And I think if we stick that sort of central, that'll be fine. Probably should have popped it on before I put the butterfly on and the thingamajig on the other side, but it doesn't matter. You don't really have to press this down. So I'm just going to stick some glue around the edges, and then and this will then give that extra little bit of weight. Once the glue dry, it'll give an extra bit of weight to the card, because the collal dries like the centre. Looks about right, doesn't it? Yes, the collal dries like cement. So there we are. So you could put a sentiment on there, and especially if you're not doing, you know, if it's not a sympathy card, you could stamp another sentiment on there if it's for a birthday card or a Christmas card or whatever it is that you're going to make. Or you could just leave it blank, and you could write your own words there that are personal to the person that you have made it for whatever occasion. And so there we are, that's our card from today. Hope you've enjoyed seeing what's in Marta's box, and also watching a little bit of inspiration, something quite simple that you can make with your box contents. And for the tiny little bit of paper that we've used on here, you could make 100. I should think you could make, you know, a lot of cards out of the paper that's there, definitely. There's 16 sheets. You know, even if you cut these sorts of sheets up, the A4 size and the 8x8 into sections for the centre like that, you'll make a lot of cards, you know, at least, I should think at least 50 cards, if not more. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to pop over to Marta's Drop of Inspiration page on Facebook and join there, so that you can post any of the cards that you make with her box. My video will be on there. This video here will be on my YouTube channel, SuziChoclat, and it'll be on my Facebook group, SuziChoclat Crafts. And so have fun with your box, and until next time, take care. Bye bye.